So you're betraying our beloved Ace the Savior to— Oh my god. You summon over here for the alleged best character coming out this year, Summer Castoria, Berserker Castoria, or whatever you want to call her. I've heard she goes by 35 different names. And while I might think you're morally in the wrong summoning for this character over my wife, I do at least understand why you would do it, because this character is absolutely bonkers. Like, they are broken. I've kind of been referencing it all year, but the fact, like, just picture how good Draco is, and then just imagine how they could possibly make a character better than Draco, and then just envision Castoria in a swimsuit, and you've come to the realization of this absolutely heinous servant they have made. Now, I know some people are going to want to argue if Draco or Summer Castoria are better. You can have that hate war in the comment section down below. All I'm here to do is deliver the information as to why this character is so good and why they're probably a must summon for 95% of accounts. So strap in and get comfortable. Make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you like being informed on the goings on both the NA and JP side of things, and let's start diving right into this, starting off with her hits. And yeah, her hits are looking pretty good, at least for the card layout. Double Buster, Double Arts does mean if you want to use her in some freaky immortal team comp, you are able to do that. The actual values, though, might be a little deceiving. See, she's rocking a lower 0.4% NP refund, and obviously she's a Berserker, so her star gen is next to nothing. But the hits on all of her cards are really high. 4 on the arts, 5 on the quick, and that beloved 5-hit extra attack, which, if you're not in the know, let me inform you, is a composite card that gen stars NP and does big boy damage. 5 is the gold standard we like to see here, especially with Mighty Chains being a thing. But the higher hits that she is rocking actually do mean that when you're critting, you're going to be refunding more than you would expect, especially because this is an arts character who is functionally just a DPS version of OG Castoria that you can pair with the OG Castoria. So, you know, insert all the battery and NP gain and arts buffs just flooding on the screen right now, because that's what this character is going to be rocking. They are just going to be refunding like an absolute madman. Trust me, 0.4%, not low enough actually to stop this character from running a train on everybody. Now, because she's a Berserker, her append skills are slightly different from other characters. Sure, she still has the mono loading for 20% starting battery, which is always good. Extra attack buff, sure, that's fine. We have the future ones, which is going to be the crit one, which is really strong, and the 5th one that gives you, skill cooldown. But her 3rd one is a little bit more unique. Instead of getting a damage bonus, she has crit chance resistance against pretender enemies, which, again, I get the irony. It's kind of funny because, Oberon, he's a pretender, right? But at the same time, you're probably fine leaving this one off if you're stressing about, oh my goodness, I NP5 my Summer Castoria, which append skills do I do? You can definitely leave off the 3rd one, because how often are you fighting pretender enemies that you're really going to want this? Unless, again, you're just trying to fully max out your Castoria, in which case, pop off. Looking at her passive skills, these are all just rather solid. These are just good things for her to have. A passive 10% Buster buff, so if you are doing Buster crits, because, again, because of how her deck is structured, you can use her with, like, Merlin and OG Castoria and just absolutely wreck shop. You can kind of do whatever you want with this character. So that's at least nice for those instances. She has a slight increase in her debuff success rate of 2%, which— awesome, I guess. The 17.5% debuff resistance is kind of nice going into boss fights, because as a single target character, you probably will be bringing her into some of those. So being able to whiff the odd debuff is kind of nice. And then she just has a blanket 20% critical attack chance resistance for all, incoming crits. Doesn't matter if they're pretenders or not, right? This one's actually good. And I would say pretty notable for her, because as a Berserker, she can die really quickly. A slightly aggressive gust of wind just might sweep her off her feet. So having some protection against crits that would definitely 1 to 2 shot this character if she's not being protected by the litany of different supports you have available to you is kind of nice, because if you do have some kind of weak part in your strategy, or you get all your buffs removed, at the very least, she probably won't die to a crit, so that's kind of nice. Now let's move into some of her skills, starting off with skill 1, Heartbeat of Spring. That is such a sweet skill name. I wonder what it does. Oh, it's Absolute Devastation. It's a 50% battery for herself, 50% crit damage for herself for 3 turns, and Omega Star Weight for 3 turns on a 6-turn cooldown. Now you might look at these effects and say, ZTL, I mean, this is really basic. How is this all this broken? Well, for one, I'd have to assume you are new, because 50% battery pretty much marks almost always that a servant is going to at least be decent. It's kind of hard to be bad when you're rocking a Mondo battery. But then there's also the fact that she's a Berserker, she's already going to be doing pretty good damage, spoiler alert, so the fact that she just has built-in free 50% crit damage is a little bit nuts. I mean, we just covered Saber Medusa a bit ago, and they only gave her 50% quick crit damage. Granted, she's got 3 quick cards, but still, again, they're just saying, screw it, give it to her for free, who cares? You're gonna be using her with double Castoria, right? You need the crit damage. Then, you know, Lysangle being clueless, people start bringing Merlins and Lady Avalons into their setups and start critting for hundreds of thousands of damage. It's really good. And then the star weight is actually very important, because as a Berserker, her natural star weight is very, very low. So having this kind of guarantees that she can at least fight for some of those stars, which might not be that big of a problem as we start getting into some of her other skills. The second skill, Fae of Summer, again, what a nice, warm name for this skill. What a sweetie pie this character is, as she is unleashing devastation onto everybody, because this is going to be a targetable 20% NP gauge. So if you use this on herself, she has a 70% battery functionally. That's not broken at all. That also increases the party's NP gain by 20% for 3 turns, so again, literally just Castoria's second skill, except they tacked on that whoever you target this on not only gets the 20% battery, but they also get an overcharge in their NP stages by 2 stages, which is ridiculous. Again, we've gone on and on about how good some of these characters are that can buff your overcharge rate. I mean, the Immortal team comp literally lives off of that overcharge from Morgan or whoever you're using, so the fact that they just tanked this on to an already good skill, like original Castoria's second skill is already good. And then they thought, how do we make it better? Oh, what if we just give somebody overcharge of 2 for whatever reason? So you give this to OG Castoria, 3 hits of solemn defense. Not that that's really going to be a problem with this character, we'll talk about that later. But you could just toss this on anybody. Lady Avalon, you want more stars? Tamamo, you want to give people more NP back if you're using her? Merlin, more stars? Somebody else wants to do more damage on their overcharge? Use it with Ace the Savior, the anniversary character, so she can get her 3rd skill back faster and do more buster damage. I mean, you could just toss this with anybody, and it'll be really good. Summary is that this skill was already really good on the original Castoria, and it's even better on the DPS version of Castoria. And finally, there's her 3rd skill, Holy Sword Handling, which surely nobody would make any innuendos about this skill name, surely. It's going to be giving her a 50% arts performance for 3 turns, 10 stars every single turn for 3 turns, and 1 turn of invincibility on a 6-turn cooldown. Now, usually you'll see that some of these characters will get, you know, a 30% card buff for 3 turns, or maybe they have a way to kind of stack up to getting to 50-60%. For Summer Castoria, they just said, nah, we wanted to be good, 50%. Boom. Which is not only massively increasing the amount of damage that our arts cards are going to be doing, it's also going to massively increase the NP refund that she's getting back on her arts cards, which is why I said at the beginning that the 0.4% NP gain doesn't really matter, because she has a huge arts buff. She's getting the NP gain buff in combination with what she's already going to be getting from God knows what supports you're going to be using, while also technically having a 50% and 20% battery, so 70% split battery. And she's also a crit servant that makes their own stars. I mean, have you used Estrella before? She's kinda good. Except this character's a Berserker, so they hit everybody for super effective damage. And I guess let's just go look at the NP. Let's just get everything out on the table right away. So as if the skills already weren't good enough, her NP, you can see, is a Bible chapter. It gives the entire party 1 hit of solemn defense. She has a set 150% power mod against threat against humanity enemies, but she also has an overcharge power mod against chaotic and divine enemies as well. And then for whatever reason, she also just reduces their critical attack chance by 20% for 3 turns, which means you can stack this on them to effectively just never get crit again. So even the thing that seems like it's kind of just BS tacked on at the very end, when you look at her passive skill and the fact that you can stack this with a very spammable NP, it's like, oh, cool, so my team just never takes crits if they're ever taking damage in the first place. Because now, do I not only have OG Castoria, I have Lady Avalon or Merlin that have just AoE defense with their illusion skill, I also have my DPS protecting the entire party while they're DPSing. It's not even like a skill thing. It's not, oh, I got a time when I want to use this skill, and, oh, but that might not let me have an explosive turn. It just doesn't matter. You just fire the NP and you protect the entire party while slam dunking them into the stratosphere. The funny thing is, even her Bond CE is good. If you want to make her your Grand Berserker, I don't know why you would do that over Morgan, but let's say you're a crazy person. If you want to make her your Grand Berserker, whole party, 15% Chaotic and Divine Power Mod for free. Everybody take it, which means her own power mods now start at 65%, and everybody else is just getting bonus damage in multi-core setups, and she's a single target, so she's pretty good in those as well. So what's the consensus? Well, this character is bonkers. They are real good. There is a reason a lot of people have been highly anticipating summer coming out, and if I'm just going off of my own analytics, you know, reading comments, you know, doing streams and looking at Discord, I would say it's pretty much her, Draco, and Ace the Savior. These are the characters that people are really looking forward to this year, and you can definitely see why. I mean, this character is just the most straightforward broken character you could use. With Draco, maybe you'll get caught because you're fighting someone that's not a servant enemy. She'll still be super effective against, you know, the Heavenly Dragons in Lost Belt 4, but they're not servants, so no power mod. So there's a little bit of thinking you have to do with Draco, just a little bit, and you can't bring her to fight extra class people. With Ace the Savior, you can use her really simply, or you can Giga Brain it and make some really cool setups to enable pretty much any servant in your Chaldea. But for Berserker Castoria over here, there's no thinking. You just click all of the buttons, and then you just keep mashing the blue cards until the enemy doesn't exist anymore, which is going to be really easy to do because, and this is not a hot take, but Arts definitely has the best supports by and large. I mean, even Buster being like, well, we've got a Merlin art set. Yeah, we have our Merlin as well now. So, like, you're not even that special anymore. Castoria basically being the best character in the game, and Tamamo being a pretty decent support in her own right. If anybody's ever used Tamamo in any of their art setups, they realize this character is still pretty good. And I'm going to keep pushing that propaganda. Embrace the Castoria Tamamo setup. Anyway, side propaganda aside, this character is set up to just be nuts to butts broken. Because not only are they just simple to use, you just put them at somebody and they just destroy them, but they've also got team utility in a very subtle way. So obviously you could target the second skill on herself. She'll get the power mod and that's nice. But in multi-core setups, this actually might be something that's coming up. Say, for instance, you're doing a setup with Summer Castoria and Summer Ibuki. Castoria is your single target to take out the one big guy that's always in a 90++ node, and then Ibuki's going to loop the other two waves that have multiple enemies on them. You'll say your Ibuki's NP1, and so even though she's getting the Earth Power mod, she might not be hitting the exact threshold to consistently take out whatever, you know, wave of enemies she's going to be taking out. The fact is, you can just give her this second skill, which not only helps her loop a lot easier because of the NP gain, but then it also overclocks her power mod on her overcharge, and now she's definitely going to take those enemies out. I mean, just like little things like that, where it doesn't seem like a lot until you start using the character more, and you just realize how often they come up. It's kind of like what I said in the Ace the Savior video, where I would use that character, but as I realized that I could use them to enable more and more powerful setups in my account, I started to use her more and more frequently. Castoria wasn't the same way. I started using her off rip, and then I've tried to cram her into everything whenever I possibly can. Because it's one of those characters that you realize is broken, they read as broken, you use them, and they're even more broken than you thought. I mean, they have such an unassuming kit that you would just not assume that this character is capable of apocalyptic levels of destruction, but they do it with the greatest of ease. So, by all means, yes, this character is worth rolling for. They are good. They are phenomenal. Arguably the best servant that comes out this year. The only other characters that are really going to compete with her for your Saint Quartz, I mean, one of them just left with Anniversary, or is going to leave if the banner's still up when this video goes out. But then the other one is maybe Yusugi Kenshin at the end of the year, but as much of a Kenshin stan as I am, I think Summer Castoria is just a bit better. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Again, if my summons went really well for Ace the Savior, and I got her NP5'd and everything, then I will be summoning on this banner and stealing all the luck from this video. But if I got absolutely booty blasted in my Ace the Savior video, then I will be donating all of my Saberface Enjoy Your Luck to everybody watching this video in hopes that you can get yourself a crumb of that Castoria. As per usual though, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, it's free, helps me out more than you know. But if you want to go that extra mile or you just can't get enough of me, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on the YouTube and the Twitch where we play FGO, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays we're trying out stuff like Wuthering Waves and Honkai Star Rail, getting ready for the real Saber collab. And I guess also Virgil Emiya. I mean, I'm also pretty hyped about that one as well. There's also a Discord down in the description down below as well, where if you want to go yap to other people in the FGO community, whether it's about lore, or you just need help clearing a stage, or you just feel like yapping, feel free to go to the FGO channel. Dokkan channel's there if you like buff dudes. Not much else to really say about that one, it's just the buff dudes chat. Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't go in there, that's the Forbidden Lands. Those people are savages and cannot be trusted. We have a Hoyo Games chat if you're interested in stuff like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail. I guess technically Wuthering Waves, even though it's not a Hoyo game, would probably be talked about in there. Especially if you're trying to get into Honkai Star Rail with the new, Fate Stay Night thing coming out. Kind of a helpful chat to get you antiquated to the game. And then if you're a real gooner, you can go into the Nikkei chat where, I'm pretty sure you can guess what goes on in the Nikkei chat. But there's also a Patreon down in the description down below where if you want to subscribe to the Patreon, not only do you get the odd patron exclusive video every now and then, but you also get to vote on the videos that come out on Fridays, where usually there's not much going on in FGO on Fridays, or I've already covered everything in the week, so I let the Patreons vote on a video that comes out on those Fridays. So sometimes it's a tier list, sometimes it's the Babbage video, which I'm never going to let them live that down. But with that being said, I think I have yapped on for long enough, so I will let you guys go. You are free from the video. Have a nice rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!
Hello Shadow Wizard Money Gang, it is I the editor. I said wait until the end of the video earlier, so now I have a present for you. Enjoy.
And then finally we have her third skill, Holy Sword Handling. Well, I'll show you a Holy Sword you can handle. You might have to put that at the very end of the video. I don't know if we can have that one, and that might be too out of pocket.